So good evening, everyone, and thank you for being with us for another webinar. I would like to start by sharing some news regarding the photo shoots organized by Mr. Patrick Nellas and Antonella Spiteri, who manage the local agency of the European top models. The next confirmed photo shoot will be at the Aviation Museum at Taqali on Saturday, 8 May at 9 a.m. and the theme will be Pinup Vintage. Those interested are kindly requested to send a private message to both Patrick and Antonella for more information. I will be sharing the promo on the group chat for those interested, so that if you want to download the promo, you can and keep it for safeguarding the date if you're interested to attend. This photo shoot will be held in conformity with the measure issued by the public health authorities. This is a good opportunity to get more exposure on fashion and people photography. Today, we will once again be having the famous photo mentoring discussion, which has played itself strongly in our webinar calendar since from feedback received, it goes well with our audience, learning from other works by taking note of the positives and areas for improvement, improves one's skill and would take your photography one step further. I would like to thank those who presented their photos for critique. As usual, a couple of thanks. Thank you to Stephen Buhajar for his tremendous commitment and support so that together we put up these webinars. Josef Mifsud, our technical guru for streaming our webinars live on the MPS Facebook page. Needless to say, the whole EXCO of the Malta Photographic Society, who obviously are the backbone and they support us tremendously. And obviously the Facebook groups for supporting us by promoting our webinars on their pages, namely in surname order, Azzopardi Tony from Fotografija Bejn il-Ħbieb, Kutajjar Alexander from Photography Shots, De Bono Johan from All Photography. As you can see, I have put the logo of the Malta Photographic Society on the background on purpose so that we remind everyone, obviously, to pay their membership if they haven't paid their membership, and those new joining our webinars and obviously following us live. The society is open and is open to everyone, so come forward, speak with the committee, and obviously enroll, because obviously you will definitely benefit from being a member of this society. I will now hand over the word to the President of the Malta Photographic Society, Mr. Stephen Buhajar, to share with us some news regarding the society. Over to you, Stephen.
Thanks, Vince. Thanks. Allow me to share a PowerPoint to help me.
Yes.
Is it showing, Vince?
Yes, Stephen.
Good evening, fellow members of the Malta Photographic Society. I wish to start today's speech with the latest news from the April stay-at-home competition, and I wish to congratulate Mr. Martin Ajus for his winning image titled Alone. I also wish to acclaim Mr. Alexander Kutajjar, who at the moment is leading the standings with a total of 46 points. Well done, guys. By Sunday, all 27 participants received an email from the MPS administration with the results. These results are also uploaded on the Malta Photographic Society's website. On behalf of the MPS EXCO, I would like to thank Mr. Ramon Samut and Ms. Pauline Grech for their time and assistance to judge 81 submitted images. We invited them to one of the upcoming webinars to share with us their critical analysis, views, and also give their feedback on some of the work they judged last Saturday. Why some? Because there are 81 images. If we had to spend 2 minutes on every image, it will last nearly 3 hours. So we will choose a couple of images and we will discuss them during one of our webinars. Now, I will invite all 27 participants and also other MPS members to participate in the May Stay at Home competition and submit your best 3 images. The competition will start. You can submit from this Saturday up till Saturday 15th of May. The subject is free and you can send the images in color and or monochrome. May I kindly remind you to read thoroughly the terms and conditions before submitting your photos. When inputting the name of the image on the submission form, do not include your name with the title image. Your name needs to be included only when renaming the image, as advised and shown in this PowerPoint. Anyone who needs any assistance is kindly asked to send an email to Mr. Joseph Mifsud, the competitions manager, on admin@mpsmalta.com, and he will guide you accordingly. We would also like to congratulate Mr. Joe Smith, one of our esteemed members, who was acclaimed one of the winners for the Pink Lady Food Photographer of the Year 2021. This competition was launched 10 years ago, and it is open to professional and non-professional photographers from all over the world. Street Vendor by Joe Smith won the Winterbottom Derby Food for Sale prize. His image is showing a woman selling capers and other delicacies from her open on the streets of Marsaxlokk. Well done, Joe. I encourage you to start participating in foreign photographic competitions to test your skills and to gain more exposure. I also included in my speech last week. Competitions keep you active and focused. Anyone who needs assistance is advised to approach a member of the Exco and will be pleased to support. If a member receives any local or international recognition, we will be very pleased to share these news with our members as we did with others. But may I emphasize and point out that photography should not be linked and associated only with competitions. As any visual art form, photography exploits vulnerabilities of the human visual perception and can make us experience emotions that moves us and compel us to do things that we otherwise would not even think of. Artists show their unique vision of a scene which provokes a reaction from us. Their intention is to make us see a scene and to execute it in a way that engages the viewer. The skill lies in being able to translate an idea to a finished product in the medium of the artist's choice. Now, photography plays an important role, and we as photographers have to implement and combine both technical and artistic skills to express ourselves with photography. Why am I saying all this? The society needs to collaborate and promote the works of those who are in search to expose their artistic photography, locally and abroad, in local galleries and also in international galleries. Last week, I had a meeting with the artistic director of Spazio Creativ, Mr. Daniel Azzopardi, who was one of my students, to engage ourselves with local photographic artists who exposes their art in these spaces. We also encourage our members to attend one of the ICREA sessions to meet one of their program coordinators, which can help you with any queries you have on Spazio Creativ's call for proposals. The society inspires and supports local photographers to be creative, to collaborate with other artists, and to create a project of artistic excellence, community outreach, and internationalization, which are the 3 pillars which help you to be included within Spazio's Creativ program. In the future, the society will invite members to outreach and visit this place, and is intended to organize tours and talks with contemporary photographers who will be using Spazio Creativ to exhibit their talents. Now I would like to share a short video. Most probably I have to go back because I didn't let me stop sharing and share it again. Share sound.
At Spazio Creativ, Malta's National Centre for Creativity, we're looking for talented creatives to showcase their ideas as part of our season programme. Eligible proposals must be in line with our 3 strategic pillars, those being artistic excellence, community outreach, and internationalisation. Simply read the guidelines and apply through our online application form on our online portal. Applicants must provide the details of the concept, collaborators, production logistics, and budget, as well as why they want to collaborate with Spazio Creativ. Those interested may also attend one of the ICREA info sessions, where one of our program representatives will be happy to help. For more information, visit our website at www.creativita.org or call 2122 3200. We look forward to hearing from you.
As I told you, I invited also Mr. Daniel Ajus to come over when we open the club to give you an overview of what Spazio Creativ can give to us artists if we want to collaborate with this entity. And now let us start with today's photo clinic. Remember that when giving our feedback, we need to be sensitive how to criticize our fellows member work, and let us be constructive, not destructive. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Stephen. Obviously, those, if you have any question or you would like to speak, you can either use the reactions so that, or else you can use the chat so that I can open your mics and keep this. Let's keep it as a form of discussion. I mean, because this is a discussion, obviously. So if anyone wants to give their opinion, enter the discussion or anything, just feel free to contribute and participate so that we make it a live and a better discussion. Steve,
Liz, will you share the images?
Okay, as you wish. I put them on my, or you have them.
I can. Okay.
You can share them.
Okay. Let me start with the first one.
Yes.
Is it showing, Vince?
Yes, Steve.
So let's start. Joe? Okay.
Me? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lovely effort in a change of viewpoint. What bugs me a bit is the composition. I would have preferred if the author would have moved the camera a bit left-hand side and got the 2 pair of legs in the image, one leaving this side and one leaving this side. The main pair of legs are very central, and this left leg just disappearing out of the picture with all the space on the right doesn't help in the composition. Otherwise, I commend the author for trying to be different and looking down instead of straight or up. But I would have just timed it a bit differently, like move a bit to the left, or just to include the 2 commuters, one leaving to the right, one leaving to the left. And maybe it could work nicely in monochrome, seeing that there is a lack of color.
But the fact, Joe, that there's a combination of lines. It is nearly 3-color, the image. You have the yellow, the white, and the blacks.
Or else I would crop this leg out, the one on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Can I annotate?
Yes, you can.
Only annotate. So
Okay.
She has space to move into the picture without the interruptions and the distractions of this left leg.
Okay.
You know, and there's more accent on the graphic aspect of the image with just the horizontals showing without the gray bit of tarmac down here. And, you know.
Minna, what's your say? This is your image. Do you agree with Joe, or your intention was totally different?
No, yes, I agree. But what I liked, have the both legs on the same stripe. That was my idea, just passing by. But you're right, there is maybe too much just black or gray in front of the picture.
And you even, with the crop, you even place the accent on the shadow, which is part of the graphic narrative of the picture, you know.
Alexander is saying that if you crop the image, then there would be shades, then there will be extra shades. The ones coming from the leg.
Yeah, so
it doesn't bother you?
not at all.
Okay. Any questions, Minna?
No, I think it was good to hear this. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Shall we go for another one, Vince?
Yes, Steve, sorry, I was muted.
Okay. So I'll ask Christopher Azzopardi.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Chris.
Let's start with the positive things. I really like the composition. It's very interesting. The color scheme, the white background, high key background. And I like it that it's not pure white. Now, composition wise, I think I would have worked it differently, but that is my opinion. Obviously, I'm not saying that it's not good. I like it, but the fact that you have a heavy thing, a plate with a lot of, okay, 3 red peppers here and 1 green, but this is the bowl. The base looks like, it almost looks like a reflection rather than a plate resting on it. Okay, this it bothers me a bit. If I were the photographer, I would have placed this on something like perspex and create a reflection of the plate rather than an upside down bowl. As regarding the green pepper here, although I like it a lot, it's against the law of gravity. Usually when you place a pepper like green pepper like this, it's going to fall. So as it is, I would have preferred to see it resting on something that will give it stability. That is my opinion. Lighting wise, I like how it was lit, but still I see that there's a lot of space under the plate, which personally I don't see this helping the image. And in doing so, the composition, it's too central then. I would have cropped it. Okay.
Can I say something, Steve?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I can see exactly what Chris is saying. And also, like I always preach, you know, I mean, we have to say more with less. Why 3 red peppers? You know, the pepper has a particular beautiful shape, and the red ones are being lost. So personally, I would have gone for a top shot with the nice graphic circular plate and the shape of just 2 peppers, you know. The way it is, it's loaded. It's too much. Even as Chris was saying, the green pepper, you know, I mean, standing up on its own. So I would have gone for a top shot, the lovely circle, and just two peppers, you know, with their beautiful shape, placed to one side, for example. The way it is, for me, it's not saying anything. It's just, you know, a product shot which which is loaded with information, with I have to use a hard word, useless information.
Patrick, what's your say about this?
Yeah, interesting. Christopher's dead right about the conflict of the bowl and flat surface. Placed on a mirror or placed on a shiny surface would reflect the plate, which I do agree. The idea that I think was Chris was it?
First, the first review was given by Chris, then Joe spoke.
Oh, Joe, sorry. Joe was saying it's overloaded and all that. The idea that I was trying to create was if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen kind of thing. So you got 3 red peppers, they just collapse, and the single green one is the winner. It was the intention when I was doing the product shot. But I did intend to use textures on top of the shot. So it was, this is the kind of clean, simple version of the shot. But yes, I agree. The next time, it was my first time doing it, by the way. I did a series of these shots, but I will return back to it. I do like the reflection of the plate on a shiny surface by Christopher. So really fair play to you. Over to you, Stephen.
Thanks. Any more questions or comments? Would you like to say something, Chris or Joe? Okay, so let us go for the next image. Alex Attard.
Hello, you hear me?
Yeah. Your review, your comments, please.
It is an interesting image because we don't get to see this kind of photography very often. It's more or less on the conceptual side, I would say. I like the way that the filter is put over it to create the mood, you know, making it in a way, you know, monochromatic. I wouldn't say it's the kind of picture which has a very strong wow factor, but because of the position of the moon, the way it is on the point over there, so you have a focus point when you look at it, you zoom in over there. Technically, it could be perhaps improved, you know, but it's also, you know, you have to look at it for what it is. It's not a kind of, it's purely an artistic attempt of producing something different.
Is Xavier here? Xavier, let me unmute you. Xavier, you have to unmute yourself. Okay. We are not listening. Xavier.
Let me try from my side, Steve.
No.
No, he's in fact.
Try again. You are unmuted now, but you have a problem with the mic.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, actually, I took this picture with my mobile. It was the first time in the theory, just to actually get your comment. Actually, I know what I should have done better. Obviously, clean it, better lighting. I knew about that. Just to have your comments. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Xavier. So this, most of it you did it in post-processing, am I right?
Yes,
Was this shot in Malta?
yes, actually, in Zero.
Okay. Any other comments, Joe or Chris?
Yeah, I mean, exactly like what Alex said. You know, I mean, I'm not convinced the blue filter or whatever it is works, because the shadows are really blocked up. The graphics, the architectural graphics details are lost. You know, and otherwise it's beautiful viewpoint. Yes, and but
I totally agree with you, especially this area. You have on continuous lines.
exactly.
We have a comment, Steve, from
Yeah.
Emmanuel Muscat. He's saying, good attempt, different viewpoint, having multiple exposures and blending layers would have improved the image. He is saying.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Charles Calleja. Charles.
Ciao. Sorry, I was
Sorry, I didn't.
my reportage. That's why I actually had myself also.
Sorry.
I had a phone call.
Your review about this image.
Yeah. I like the image, obviously, where it's how it's taken. Obviously, maybe a little bit of a different angle might have framed the person better with the door behind her, instead of there's the line cutting aside. Also, some cropping from the left might have helped a little bit. I would have eliminated part of that door. So it would lead, the person would show where it's walking into. A little bit of breathing space is needed in this image. Also,
But if we wanted to put the person behind the door, the position of the photographer should have moved to the right. So
slightly to the right, yes.
So
Or else you maybe take it a little bit earlier.
Mhm.
So it's a little bit, I've taken 2 seconds later.
Okay.
So having taken the
But
picture. a little
how
bit
about the
earlier,
lighting, Charles? Because I love the lighting hitting her from the
lighting
back.
is fantastic because it's framing, it's also, separating the subject from the background. That's why I preferred the person to be moved in front of the door, because that gives a very nice outline on the person. The editing looks a little bit patchy, so a bit of careful editing, post-processing needs to be done. It looks a little bit dirty. It's a very good black and white, but there are areas in the image that I think might have been either dodged and burned a little bit unattractive. I like the railings, the way the light is being lit up.
Yeah.
The person looks very strong in the image, so I would have placed a little bit more emphasis on the person. Definitely crop a little bit from the side.
Okay.
That's my 2 pence.
Paul is saying it would have improved if the photographer decided to crop it in a square format. Do you agree, Charles?
Square format is a very interesting format. I love square format. As I also mentioned last week, square format is a favorite of mine. It gives more space around the person. So cropping it square might eliminate that unwanted information that you have. Yes, square I like, but looking at this as a street photograph, would square I'm just asking. I'm not going to say yes or no. Would square format be beneficial? I do like it in a square format. Yes. A little bit more breathing space around the image would have helped also.
It helped also the fact that the photographer went down, sort of, he took the image from a different angle point of view, and it worked.
It does work. It does work. It's a very good image. As I said, there are minimum things that these are being petty about these images. Otherwise,
showing
just cropping
more,
from the right,
showing more of the path. What do you think, Charles?
Yes,
The
it
fact-
needs a little bit more foreground
Mhm.
because it looks like the person maybe is nearly hovering, but obviously the floor, in my opinion, needs a little bit more. So it needs a little bit more breathing space around the top and bottom.
Okay.
That's my opinion. But
Let me introduce and ask the author.
Stephen,
Yeah.
maybe placing even the subject in the middle of the shape. Does it work? And in the same time, the subject would be placed in the thirds. But because I see a shape behind, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I see a square shape,
Yeah.
and placing that, I'm asking if it fits well. Placing the subject, which is the main interest of the photo, in the center of the shape, being also the lower left side thirds, would it have?
that is what I was saying when I said if it was taken a little bit early, just a second or two before, it might have, the person might have been
in the
in front
middle of the square.
of the doors.
Okay.
Because the black behind the person would have suited the person very nicely. So the light is separating the person from the doors. So that is what I started with.
Noel, what's your take about this? This is yours?
Yes, I totally agree. This was actually the subject was in the center, but I cropped it a bit from the left so that I try to put her on the thirds.
Okay.
My only problem about these kind of photos, are we allowed to use them? Because she was unaware that I took it.
Yeah, Noel, from my point of view, if I had to use this photo in a competition, I will try to ask the person if she allows me to use it, and I will give her a copy from my end. But even if you decide to use it for a competition, she is in a public place. So yeah, you are not using it badly. You can use it. It's street photography, so why not? Maybe someone else.
Actually, Stephen, the fact is that obviously the GDPR clauses in terms of photography are also are always debatable. But when it comes to, obviously, I'm not a lawyer, but from the things that we encounter, and from the meetings we had and what we read, the fact that you're not exposing explicitly confidentiality. I mean, it would be risky, for example, it would be more risky, for example, to shoot someone inside his own house, maybe from a balcony, That's very risky. That's very risky.
That's
it's very risky.
Of privacy.
Yes. Yeah, the invasion of privacy. Only journalists would probably get away with it.
Not even journalists, no.
Journalists, when it comes to journalists, Charles, the law is very it's very different from others. I mean, from a journalistic point of view, it depends. It really depends, because it depends the situation, it depends the reportings, it depends anything. But when it comes,
there were cases and legal cases about this.
But the thing is, the most dangerous part and the risky part is when it comes to something commercial. For example, if you shoot a boy with his mother and then you sell that photo without permission, that is the one that you're pressing the red button over there.
I think
That is very risky.
I think this merits a full webinar.
Yeah, of
Yes,
course. We
yes,
need.
yes.
We
It
need.
is,
We
it
need.
is.
There are a
It
lot
is.
of information about GDPR that is still missing.
Yeah.
Just as on a side note, please, for everybody, nobody can tell you don't take a picture or erase the image. So that's not even a policeman can tell you that. So you are allowed to take pictures, not use it or publish it. Definitely not.
That's it.
But if you take a picture, nobody can tell you, listen, erase it. You are allowed to keep it for personal use. You can use them.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Joe Attard?
Hello. So we have here a very interesting scene, very serene. The author saw this picture, this photo, and he not only took it, but then he enhanced it as well. It is there are a lot of goodies in this photograph. If it is the same photograph, I mean, if it's not made up of different photographs, which might be, but we're here to judge or to look at this photograph now. There is a very interesting sky and a very interesting foreground. The lead-in, the fact that it is sharp from front to back, is another very big positive. The light falling on the couple, giving them a rim light, is also very attractive. And that light, that contre-jour light, that light falling behind the subjects, is giving also a sharp outline on the rock and on the rock. And it's lighting the subject very well, mildly, but nicely, very nicely. The exposure is spot on. There is a very high hotspot, which is the sun. Obviously, you cannot do much about that. But the hotspot in the sea, I can see detail practically in all of the hotspots in the sea. And the part of the sun, I can accept it as it is as well. The sky itself, is a very attractive part of the photo in itself. Yes. Now, can we perhaps improve a bit this picture? I don't know. I mean, first of all, it will be subjective. I mean, somebody might say, yes, it can. I personally am being subjective as well, but I am personally one of those who tries never to put the horizon at the center or almost at the center. Here it's a bit difficult. Why? Because usually when we put the horizon on the third, we give space, more space, but in the part which is more interesting. Sometimes the clouds are more interesting and sometimes the foreground is more interesting. Here it is a 50-50 thing. Both the upper part and the lower part are very interesting. So my idea of the horizon here in this case, this particular case, might not be in line with it. The colorizing of it, the brownish tint, is not very natural at this time of the day. Perhaps it would have been more orangey than brownish, but the way the author did it, I think it's nice. It's different. It's nice. To be honest, I cannot see things to criticize on this, and I really think the author did a very good job out of this photograph.
Mario Mifsud just annotated that part.
In fact, that part over there, what I would have, it's an observation that I saw. I agree with Joe. It's a very nice image, and even as regards to the horizon being close to the middle, in this case, I think close an eye, because there is a balance between the sky and the foreground,
Yes.
which both offer some form of texture. But there again, one might argue that placing the horizon at the top part, maybe eliminating a little bit of sky, or a little bit from that hotspot of the sun, and giving more attention to the foreground, given there is the couple, it would make it a little bit stronger. Over there, I'm not sure if that's the some form of waves hitting the or if but it looks definitely, it's like a halo, which I would personally avoid. Also, one last thing, the fact that the author managed to get the couple inside the shot, it's very well seen. What I would have done in treatment, maybe push a little bit the shadows so that they wouldn't be lost, because you have to make an effort, really and truly, at least from my monitor. You have to make that effort. I would have outed more that rim light that Joe rightly pointed out, so that the couple would very gently, so that the main focus point in the foreground would stand out a little bit more. Otherwise, it's a very good image, and I also like the tones, that the colors and the tones that the author did in this image.
Emmanuel Kauki, sorry, would you like to ask questions to the judges for the review they gave you?
First of all, thank you, Joe, for your critique. I will observe all the things that you said. Second, this image is one image. It is not stacked. It is not nothing. It was shot with a wide angle.
It's good to know. It's nice to know.
It was shot with a wide angle and processed in Lightroom. And I used a bit Topaz as well. And regarding the halo, I agree with you. I forgot to clean it. I didn't see it. I forgot to clean it. But the halo came when I tried to enlighten the rocks, and it overspilled to the sea a bit. But apart from that, it's a one shot, and just a little editing.
Proceed. I love it.
Alex would like to say something.
One little detail, perhaps, the foreground compared to the rest of the picture is pretty bright. So I think it can easily be fixed, like by darkening it slightly, but not darkening it all, like doing a graduated filter from the front to and leave it more light where the couple are, because the position of the couple, they are a bit lost there, you know.
Exactly.
Joe Smith told that as well.
And I sent a screenshot of a crop, which I did, if you want to see it. I mean, I would crop out this totally from here downwards and give some accent, as Alex is saying, on the couple.
I know what you mean, Joe, about cropping it, and it would probably give it a better format. However, then you lose the
yes, but you know, it's about the couple and in my opinion, it's about the couple in this environment. So but they are, as you said, that they are a bit lost. It makes me uneasy where they are exactly. I mean, that's just the way I'm seeing it. You know?
Is that okay, Emmanuel?
Yes, thank you so much for your feedback.
Joe Smith. I couldn't have not asking this to, and I upload it now because you told us that you can leave earlier.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my pet babies. I love this genre. In this case, I think I would have, it's something I hate doing, but because the text there is distracting me, and you know, I love negative space when it comes to music photography, because it accentuates the performer, what he's doing, the improvisation. So I think I would either clone it out or have moved to a different position or something, because it's really conflicting with what the guy is doing, his act and his communication with the audience. And it's so clean, the text, you know, that it looks like it's added afterwards in a way, you know. Otherwise, yeah, I like the expression, I like what's going on, I like the monochrome treatment and the conversion. Yeah, that would be my only, and maybe.
So you would have removed even the microphone.
Maybe not the microphone, but the text for sure. But even the mic, yeah, you know, it can go, because he's not a singer. I mean, he's just a bass player. And even these little mid-tone details just below the mic.
Okay.
You know. So I imagine him in the sea of black, and which really would really like to bring to the fore his performance.
Joe, as a Jets photographer, it says that you have been ages taking these type of images. Is it allowed to do these type of editing in?
Yeah, I mean, unless you are asked specifically by the organizers to have some shots, you know, with the text showing, that's okay. But if
even removing wires and mics and
yes, if I'm working on a body of work for my own collection, you know, I would totally remove those in this case, you know, because they are not adding anything to the narrative. I mean, it's all in his face, his hand positions, what he's doing, and you know. But yes, I've been doing this since 1991.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. So
and you are specifically asked to supply images with showing, you know, where the place is. So, but if I'm shooting for my collection or to hang in my home, I would totally take those away.
Vince.
Thank you. Actually, I've obviously wanted feedback on this photo, because that is the thing that I wasn't sure about. In fact, the text, I wasn't sure that you could add some text in, or I wasn't even sure also if I leave the microphone or not. So that's why I purposely posted that, so that I can have feedback, which thankfully I got the feedback from not because I underestimate the others, don't get me wrong, but obviously I got the feedback from Joe, because obviously he's into this photography, and that is actually what I wanted to know, because I'm working on other images regarding jazz, and I wasn't actually aware or convinced whether I should whether the text would help or not. Obviously that text is obviously added, because there is that's not the type of background.
I don't remember it there.
I know that's not the type of background that you get in this stage at Tallis. We shot this at Tallis. I wasn't sure, Joe, also, but you've answered actually my question, that I wasn't sure also if I would leave the microphone, but now you've given me the right answer, because yes, coming to think of it, he is not a singer. the microphone is just there to complement, correct me if I'm wrong, to complement the sound of the instrument.
I mean, he might be a second vocalist and at some point come in with a backing vocal, you know. So, but
If
his
you
main
leave
job
it-
is to keep the rhythm.
Okay,
You know,
it would be more it would be more cleaner, sort
So
of.
the text, you added the text afterwards here.
Yes, I added the text afterwards.
That's why it
and-
looks so clean, you know. I mean, because usually.
And the fact that I did it, the fact that I did the text behind the microphone, because I saw this from a study that
It
if
looks
you're going to-
credible, you know, but
it looks credible. That's what I did. I saw it from another picture that I studied. But and also, if I may ask, to have, because this is also a question that confuses me when I create jazz images. If you crop part of the instrument, is it I mean, is it doable or?
it depends. I mean, first of all, I try to crop in camera as I shoot when I'm shooting jazz. You know, I mean, for many reasons. I try to keep it, you know, as it is unadulterated, except for some cloning out. But you know, I mean, I have seen images by masters of jazz photography and shot some myself of I know only the mouth of a trumpet player and the mouthpiece, you know. So it all depends on the message you want to convey in the end, you know, and the intensity of the act on stage. You know, jazz is all about intensity. It's all about the pain of improvisation. It's about communicating with your audience, you know. Unlike classical music, which is strictly on what's written on the score, you know. But jazz is dialogue going on all the time. So yeah, I mean, if you crop out an instrument, you're also improvising like they're doing on stage. So yeah, I mean, if the message needs to be portrayed in that way, of course. I have seen images of just the hand of the bass player on the strings, a close-up shot. You know, I mean, you can see it's a bass because it's 4 strings. You know, thick strings. So you know, it all depends on how the light is falling on your main subject and the message you want to convey.
Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback, Joe.
So let us go to the next image. Christopher Azzopardi.
Guys, I have to say goodbye. Sorry.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Take care. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
I really like this image. It's very good. I like the subject. I like the fact that they are not aware of the photographer. The textures, the color scheme, composition-wise. I would be happy if I shot it myself. Now, if I had shot this, even the post-processing highlight, I would have, I don't know if I can show.
Yes, you can annotate, Chris.
You can use the annotate, Chris.
How can I access it?
View options on the top side, on the top part of the screen.
Yes.
And then there is annotate.
Let me find it. Okay. I think, for example, this blue here, are you seeing it?
Yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I would have desaturated a bit more, turned it to gray, so that your eyes won't be drawn so much on that area, even this blue here. And in post-processing, there is this green outline. I then, as it was shot, I would have corrected that as well. Okay, can you see there's a here, over here. Yeah. Even halo wise, be careful, there's slightly halo around.
Yeah, yeah.
See? Well, the first impact is great. But then when you start analyzing it, it needs a bit of refining, and it would be an excellent shot. Person. Okay. And I would have preferred slightly that this person to be slightly sharper. The face over here. I know that the photographer focus over here. Okay. Another thing that I would have desaturated, but that is my style. I would have desaturated this red thing around the cigarette. Okay. Apart from these, I really like this image, the tonality, composition wise. Okay, one might argue, do we need this part? Personally, I like it as a stopper, this column over here. Maybe they were a bit closer to it so that they won't be too central, but I'm not so fussy about being too central. Sometimes we tend to be too rigid about compositions. Like the previous image, not this one, the one before, that we saw of the landscape. As Joe Attard was saying, although it's true, usually we tend to do 1/3 sky or 2/3 sky, but this is just a guideline. If you have both the sky and the foreground both equally interesting, I would place the horizon in the middle.
The author,
would I use it in a competition if I place the horizon at the middle? Then most probably I would not. I would exhibit it rather than compete with it.
Thanks, Chris. The author, Lewis.
Thank you, Christopher. You pinpointed some things I have missed. This shot was taken in Milan many years ago, and I'm doing the same thing as maybe others are doing with the COVID. I'm searching through the old file. Yes, this image, I liked it, and I've had it for all these years, and I never did anything with it. I agree, there are some halos. It was shot with my first digital camera, D20. The lens was 75-300, not a very good lens. I shot them from far. I don't think they saw me, but yes, and those halos at the railing at the back, very difficult to remove. But anyway, I will try. There are many things I removed. Underneath this lady's elbow here, there was a red patch here. And I think there was a red patch somewhere behind here. I removed them because they were doing nothing.
Lewis.
Yes.
Lewis, can I suggest something? I agree with Chris. I like this type of photography as well, as you know. But what I think I would have done a little bit or toned a little bit down is the fact that I can see it as a too much cartoonish. Like, it works in monochrome, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. But in color, I tend to avoid having it on the strong side because I see it a little bit strong. And the fact that it is that strong, it is probably that's why you got those halos in that part, because I would have toned a little bit the textures and outed the colors a little bit differently, because as a color image, I see it a little bit cartoonish. You can get away with it in monochrome though. This is just my opinion.
I think I tried it in monochrome and I didn't like it because, like I said, this is an old taken with a camera, not very strong, 8 megapixels. And I wasn't very, and the lens wasn't very good anyway. So, and I turned it into color, just to get that effect, maybe cartoonish as you said, but it looks like a Dragon or HDR. I just played around with that because the way it was, I didn't like it. It got some reaction anyway from you guys. Thank you for your comments.
Alex Attard.
Now that is a nice black and white, definitely for the car. You know, the whites are clean, the blacks are clean, you know, the chrome is nice and shiny. As regards composition wise, I'm not too sure about it. It's okay, but I think just having that part of the car does not bring out the best of the subject there, because the subject is obviously the car. So okay, you zoom in on those details, and they are brilliantly shot, brilliantly executed. I'm not sure if it would have been better if we got more. I mean, it's subjective at the end of the day. If you want to get more of the car or leave it as it is, you know, I think I would have probably got the whole details, but the whole car. But then again, you would lose the impact on the front as it has been presented, because it is extremely well done. I don't know what do others think about it.
Chris.
I perfectly agree with Alex. I would have either included the whole car or went for detail in it. As it is, as Alex said, it's an excellent black and white, but it lacks, unfortunately, the impact when it comes to composition. I would either include it all, or else, most probably, I would have gone for a tighter crop, finding a more interesting graphic element in it. But that is my choice. Obviously, if the author is happy with the composition, it is, at the end of the day, it is his image.
Are you happy, Joe, with the image?
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. To be honest, I do not look at a photo like this for its pictorial content, to be honest, or for its composition or whatever. For me, these kind of photos, and I've got a few, are challenges in my ability or not, mind you, it's debatable, of producing a good black and white photograph.
And you did manage, yeah?
And
it is.
These are photographs that I see, and I say this would challenge me a lot to bring out a nice black and white photograph. And basically, that was the exercise I did here. I tried to, and I'm happy with the result of a monochrome image from a color. In fact, it was there were a lot. Believe it or not, there were a lot of colors in this photograph. For example, the car was 3 tones: maroon, a red, and then there were quite a few. So I took opportunity of that. To have black on black and different grades of black, especially if you look at the tires, for example, the black on black on the tires, and the difference between the tire and the parafango, I don't know what it is. So there are some subtle, what do you call it, conversions, which I like in monochrome. But I agree 100% with what Alex and Chris said. It's not some pictorial awesome photograph. But as I told you, that's why I put it in, because I wanted to have a reaction on the monochrome rendition of it. Thank you.
Joe, ħankunna għaxewka.
Oh,
Can I hear the background? It is showing the outline even here.
I don't finish yet. I don't finish yet. That is, it's not, but it is. I mean, if I had to, I won't present something like this in a competition. But if I had to present it somewhere, I would take care of it more. But it's more the central part of the car and the wheels and the blacks on blacks and the whites on white.
It's pleasing, Joe. The black and white.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
And
I wish
think
to see it printed, this image.
It's fantastic, Joe. The fact that you had maroons and reds,
yeah,
probably helped you to get very
Yes.
clean whites.
Yeah.
As well.
Well done.
It's well done, Joe.
Thanks.
Let me see what happened now. معليش فهمنا. Mr. Kalleja.
Sorry about that. I had to close the mic. Yeah. I like the shot. It's interesting. I love the warm tones it has, especially on the foreground. Maybe some cropping or moving slightly a little bit in to avoid part of the wall that we have on the low left side, but or angle a little bit differently would have been nice. It's, obviously, it's a long exposure, as we can see from the foam on the water. Pretty well executed. I can see a little bit of a halo, but it would be coming from the low resolution of the image that we have here. Maybe it's coming from the screen itself. It's taken appropriately I think in the right time of day, because I can see a lot of texture. Knowing the place, I would say quite late in the afternoon. Yes, it's an interesting image. Maybe some cleaning of the foreground. I think the foreground is a bit too heavy. It's a bit too, yeah, that's those highlighted elements need to, or else cropping out. What I would have done is move closer into where the white patch is, the brighter part of the patch. It should have been shot somewhere from over there. Eliminate the foreground. It's not adding to the image.
But I
so
intended
it does not
Joe,
add, it takes away from the image.
with the chint was as a lead-in.
But is it helping the image?
Diagonal
Tony?
lead-in.
Is it helping the image?
It's subjective, I think. I get what you're saying, like I'm showing, like this. So
because it's brighter than the
and
rest of
Mario's
the image,
like
so the
right
attention
about
goes there.
this. I failed about this. I failed to notice that. This actually was a 30-minute, 20-second exposure. At 9:30 a.m., something like that, or 10.
All right.
And there were actually people jogging up and down and on this end. But with the 15 stopper and circular polarizer, the sensor sensitivity is so low that they don't register while moving.
Listen, these are all my opinion, but as it's been cropped at the moment, as you can see, the attention from the wall, which is brighter, is minimized.
I'm gonna
So
say it in
maybe-
Maltese, jiena għalaw li għanzi ħantejjeb il-prodott.
So basically, from where they actually it's been highlighted, I would definitely eliminate it because it's too much taking away from the
I'll
image.
try it, Joe. I'll try a version. Oh, Charles, I try it.
It's still there. Interesting.
Any-
Now, obviously, the clouds might be going away, but it's worth revisiting. Even the time of day, it's correct. I like the time. I
Yeah,
thought it
I've
was-
already pointed out because some are saying that you have hotspots.
Yes, I didn't. I think I failed to view it in large mode.
Rather than hotspots, that pixels. I've already pointed out that personally to Tony when he sent the images to take care of these green dead pixels.
With the patch though,
Yeah, it's very, very easy. As you said, if this was taken, how long? 30-minute exposure?
30 minutes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's as I already explained to you, it's too much, and there was no need.
To get the dreamy effect, that's why I go into so much minutes to get the dreamy effect.
Yeah, but
because if you stack it,
you
not
have
the
to
same
be
effect.
careful. You have to be careful between grit, if it's grit or that pixels.
That says so.
Because when you
scrutinize
have
more next time.
when you have such a long time, long exposure, the sensor gets hot, and it's not good on the sensor as well. I mean,
That was January or February, just before COVID struck.
I thought it was winter.
Oh, it wasn't hot. It wasn't too hot. I'm
Thank
not
you.
gonna risk my Mark III, in summer with a 30-minute exposure. Anyway, I'm gonna.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Your turn, Vince.
thank you, Steve. This is an image that obviously I like to shoot. Every summer I go, to try and get some of these images. What I like in this image, it's first of all, it's technically taken very good. I mean, and it's taken obviously and also processed, because those who shoot Milky Way would tell you that the photo, you need to do treatment to arrive at this type of to get this result. I think the treatment is, in my opinion, it's very good. The positives of the result, the fact that the author cleverly placed the Milky Way at the side, and then you've got an interesting foreground, is something that also it's a plus. And it's another plus as well to include also foregrounds in these images, because if you have just the sky of a Milky Way, it would be a boring image. The fact that it is presented with strikes a very good balance. Things that it's not the fact that they're wrong or not wrong. These are subjectives, and what I'm going to say is the things that I would prefer to eliminate if I were to shoot this myself. First of all, I would have removed this part, this halo effect. In my opinion, I try to, in my images, I like to keep it, because when you shoot this type of images, you get this. Obviously, it's done in treatment to get more attention in the center, but I like to keep this sky totally balanced. This is, I tell you, this is just my opinion, because others might like to include that halo, and for them it might work. That's one thing. And maybe it would have improved slightly, because probably the author used a wide lens. I would have corrected the verticals of this to make them a little bit straight. Otherwise, it's a beautiful image. I mean, it's artistic. I like it.
Vince, do you think that yes, I agree with you about the verticals and the distortions, since you use the wide angle. Would you correct that as well?
Yes, yes, the distortion, that is easily corrected. Obviously, that's why I said normally when you shoot these types of images, not necessarily, but you get authors that shoot them with 16 to 35. You get others shoot them with 14. You get others that they tell you the best lens to use is a 24mm lens. Obviously, the fact that, or a 21mm lens. If the wider the lens that you use, you need to do correction, obviously, in the distortions, and they can be easily done today in the latest version of Photoshop. These are done automatically. The distortions are automatically corrected in RAW. Obviously, you can fine tune further on, but there is obviously a button that you can correct automatically in geometry. The geometry of the image in RAW.
Yeah, it is very easy. Alexander, your comment.
Well, I love the tower like that. It's an artistic impression. I didn't want it straight. You know, I usually do them everything straight. But for this particular, I didn't want it straight. I wanted it slightly different than usual. You know, but that's me. That's how I wanted to see it. Anyway, I'm not saying that it's wrong to have it straight, but I like it like that. Somebody else pointed that fill flash a bit light. Yes, I agree, because it was a bit fainted, but I wanted to show that there was fill flat at the back, because it wasn't hardly showing at all. So, but this was not even 16mm, and it's not just one button to correct it. This was taken with an 11mm on a full frame.
That's why you have the distortion.
That's why you had the distortions.
And it's not a matter of one click. You have to really go and straighten it manually, one by one, if you want it like that, you know. And even the height is not the correct height. It should be slightly higher, the tower. But I wanted to leave it like that. It's just a matter of, I wanted to emphasize on the Milky Way rather on the tower. The tower was a secondary image. My first image was the Milky Way, you know. But it's yes, you're right. As regards the sky, what you said, Vince, I agree that you have the sky all the same, but there was a heavy pollution coming from which was very difficult to balance it out. You have to use a grid, but when you use the grid, then eventually you're going on the Milky Way, which I didn't want to affect that much, you know. It was a bit difficult. I tried to minimize it.
Did you use this stacker? Because it looks very clean, Alex. Did you use the stacker?
No, that's one shot.
One shot, okay.
I just got the stacker this year. I would like to try it out now.
Well, the first, we've got an appointment then.
Yes.
Joe Attard.
Well, it seems that you're giving me the nice ones. Well, this is another one of the good ones we've seen tonight. An action shot, obviously sports, but it's very, very, very well taken. I think this is, to me, this is the sublime meaning of photography, the telling of a story, of a moment, the catching of a moment, and this is really it, though, catching of a fraction of a moment. In fact, that water is like it was composed by hand. That it was put by hand there, and then to add to the beauty of it, the sharpness of the player and the ball just right in the right place. Again, very sharp as well, and the water perhaps going around it, helping more to the story. As regards to final image, if there is something to comment, what would have I done, which is not much, perhaps it lacks a bit of contrast and a bit of coloring. The coloring is a bit muted for an action shot like this. I think it would do with some brighter colors and some contrasty. Also, it could be that the hand coming out of the water there is a bit unfortunate. It could be. I don't know whether one would struggle to eliminate that. But I would eliminate it because the body, the back of the beautifully built player is so well placed in the third, so well placed, and giving space to throw the ball, sort of the front of the ball, like he's throwing the ball. Obviously, it seems like he's throwing it to the right, and there's enough space for the ball to go. I mean, you can write a book on a picture like this. The out of focus background is beautifully done. Most of the time, many backgrounds in sports photography are spoiled with advertising billboards, which sort of make you read or they distract a lot. In this case, the author was either lucky or he tried it himself not to have any competing boards or images there. Those black parts there could have been also perhaps I don't know whether they could have been cloned or not, to be honest. But that is to be finicky on the photograph. As a photograph, God bless, fantastic.
Walter?
Well, thank you very much. I didn't accept that I'll get this. What I would have liked, I really would have liked that this shot was the player was facing me. I would have really liked that. But anyway, the water and everything, I think it's very nice.
Yes.
Do you agree about if the player was facing me?
No, I don't. Honestly,
because you will lose the hand then.
You
will lose the hand, and also the effect of the water coming abruptly when the player grab the ball from the water. You will lose that effect of splashing water behind him.
All right.
But you need to work on, as Joe said, on the contrast.
All right.
No, Walter, I wouldn't, because I'm not one of those who would say, what if he was looking there? This is the picture I have in front of me. This is the picture that you took. And this is a beautifully taken picture. Very, very good.
Thank you so much.
I'm moving on since there are still a couple of images that we need to share. Chris Azzopardi. Chris?
Yes, I'm seeing first.
Sorry.
I need to digest it. It's a very, very nice image. I like the composition, the light on it, the vignetting effect to close it. What I would have added, maybe I would have darkened this part like this part. Sorry, you cannot see, Sheikh. I need to.
You need to annotate.
Okay. I would have darkened this area to match this part. So that, because as it is the island, I think it's St. Paul's Island, or whatever it is being separated from the foreground. In doing so, and darken this area, this would be linked to the side. Maybe as well, I would have selected a slightly different angle to minimize this chunk over here. In my opinion, this is not adding much because it's a repetitive texture.
This.
Yes.
I think I tend to disagree with this, Chris, because in my opinion, what really, this is again, obviously my personal opinion, what really strikes me is the fact that the author managed to do, and in fact, I can see this, managed to give this effect. I look this leading line, it takes me there, then it takes me back inside to the picture, and it leads me inside the background where you've got this also beautiful silhouette.
I see
If-
that and I agree with you. What I'm seeing is it's a bit too much, this part.
Which part, Chris?
This rock, it's a bit over dominating. That is my opinion.
Oh,
And with this part, it should our leading into over here rather than this part is taking too much. That is my view. I would have shot slightly a different angle to minimize its impact. I don't see that we need this much foreground over here.
But then you would lose these, and these what makes that shape, in my opinion. What I would have maybe, in my opinion, that again, this is something that is that I mentioned before. I eliminate these or tone a little bit down these vignettes, because I'm sure that if you see them properly, if you see the image before being recorded with the camera, you won't see these vignettings in the sky, you know. That is why I'm not saying they're wrong, they help, but in my opinion, I would tone them a little bit down. That's the only thing that I would criticize in this image.
I would have darkened them rather than lightened them, but this is an artistic.
This is subjective.
I would have darkened the corners so that over here, but this again, this is my opinion. Doesn't mean that the best opinion. Let's find.
So now you confuse the author. This is my image. I will try both and see what works.
Are you the author?
Yeah.
But this is subjective. Personally, darken this part. It will link the island with this part. Like this part. And I would have darkened it. But again, this is how I see it. This is how I might have interpreted. And if it's possible, to shoot it slightly from a different angle. But again, because
I agree with you, Chris. In fact, I already have cropped much of this part, but it is very difficult to eliminate most of it. As if you try to change the angle, this line will lead you not inside the picture, but if
outside.
if I had to check, because I took photos from a different angle, but the problem is this,
Stephen.
Yeah.
Now, this is the thing. First of all, are you seeing it too much? Because this is what we were not agreeing with Vince.
This part.
This part.
I wish it was less. I wish it was less. Yes, I wish.
In this case, if that was the problem, I cannot write. Okay, I found it. Still, it's not allowing me. I don't know why. Anyway, because I use the eraser. But now, I'm only allowed to use the eraser. How can I draw against this?
Clear all drawings you need to do, Chris.
Yeah, but I can only clear mine.
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
clearing
I'll clear
it.
mine.
I'm
Clear
clearing
mine.
it. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
If it will allow me. Okay, now it is allowing me. Sorry. So I need to clear it again. Mela, in that case, if I want to reduce this, and it's not, I would, first of all, I would shot it as it is. Then I would move to the right-hand side, shoot it slightly different, including this. Obviously, this is not going to lead you to where you want. Now, this is where I see artistic interpretation. You being as an artist, you have the free license to modify the image. If I'm painting it, and I am seeing something that is not leading in the right direction, I would correct it in drawing. Then you can easily correct it in that case in Photoshop using Liquify, using Warp Tool, or whatever you want. So this is an issue whether you want it to be like a photojournalism to represent the actual scene that you're seeing, or else create the image of this place how you want it to be seen. That is my interpretation.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Thank you. And thanks, Vince, as well, for your detailed explanation. But I need to move on as there are other images that we need to discuss. Today, we're a little bit share. Joe Attard.
I like as well. It's a good street photograph, depicting what we're passing through at the moment with masks and a little bit of social distancing as well. But the most interesting part of it, or the most interesting thing, could be the look being given by the photo, by the girl in the photo, almost looking in a strange way at these two gentlemen. I mean, what are they wearing? What are they doing? I don't have a mask. So there is a nice story. It is well taken photograph. The wall happened to be very, very clean, so it is helping a lot. The red color of the shirt, it would have been nicer if it were on the other men, perhaps, but that's what we have in front of us. You highlighted the sprawl there, or the thing, what do you call it? Perhaps you can remove it, okay, better. But otherwise, I wouldn't do it, since it's a street photograph. Yes, I like it. It's sharp, well taken. It's a story. It tells a story. And even though the road is going down, but the line behind their heads, the line on the wall is straight, and the place where the girl, the photo of the girl is also there. There are straight lines there. I like it. I cannot fault it, really. And the cropping is nice as well.
The author, let me unmute you.
Yes, this was taken in.
Hello, Sir John.
No, thanks. Piazza San George, Valletta. So I saw the image on the wall, and I waited for somebody to pass by. Lucky enough, there were these two gentlemen. I like the one with the red because it's really boosts the picture. I also tried to do it in black and white, but I don't know why I always ended up preferring the color one rather than the black and white. Maybe because of the red, the center of the picture. The look of the girl, it's looking right to the camera. So I positioned myself good. I put it in the thirds, and that's how I took it.
John, you wouldn't have one since you were there waiting for the man to come in, you didn't have one with one person only. Oh?
I have even.
Because I think that the look of the girl looking to one person only, it might work.
Together, it's more looking, I think, at me rather than them taking the shot.
You might say that as well. Yes, you're right. You're right. What are you doing, sort of there?
Exactly, yes. And being those gentlemen, old people, one with a stick, and so you know, it's like telling a story.
Yeah. Yes. Makes sense. Very true. Very true.
Charles Calleja.
Let me transfer it to the other screen. Oops. I say it's an interesting image. It's a macro. Maybe you can zoom slightly in. I don't know. At the bottom, obviously, there is maybe some other flowers that are distracting away from the. Not that is also something that needs to be edited out. But at the bottom, there's that purple hue. Maybe that could have been cropped out. I would crop rather than edit sometimes. So instead of doing all the edits, unless you feel that the bottom part of the image is interesting, so it's adding to the image. But I cannot fault it very much. I love the colors in the background, so it's not competing, but it's making the flower come out even closer. I don't have much. I don't know if anybody else would like to say something.
I am pleased that Janika is still attending these webinars. She is a student that attended our course last January. Janika, do you wish to add more questions, or you would like to ask something to Charles?
This is an improvement from last time. I believe there was another image from Janika the other time.
The last time we had Janika's photo was that pigeon. Am I right, Janika?
Yes.
On the bastions.
Exactly.
Technically, it's very nice. So I can see a lot of improvement here. Complete.
Thank you. I did not crop out the bottom parts because I thought it might be like it would frame the subject. My question and the purpose why I submitted this picture was that the top flower, or maybe you could call it a petal, is not in focus, and I didn't know if that would kind of distract the quality of the photo or if it blends in.
I don't know. I wouldn't do much to it. It's listen. Still, you're testing your capabilities, and technically, it is a sound image. If you want to be a bit more artistic, maybe if you want to play around, just tilt the camera sometimes. You know, just be bold. You know, use a diagonal. Use it. Somebody might say it's wrong, but I might go closer. Yes. And crop from the image and use it as a diagonal. But you know, I can see it's technically sound. The light is right.
Is the background helping, Charles? Is the background helping?
Yes, it's. I think it is. I know that there's a lot of colors there, but that's what you find in nature. I don't want the black background to go black. All right, the light is coming from the right directions, from behind the flower. Even though there is a lot of colors over there, it's not distracting me. I think it's working well.
Okay.
Okay. That was another question regarding the background, because I was not sure if the bright colors were distracting, but thank you for your comment.
But it's like, you know, having sweets, and you've got a lot of sweets on this one.
In this case, in my opinion, I would have kept just two basic colors, not many contrasting colors, you know, in my opinion. And I would have tried to, obviously, you haven't had the choice to change the background. That's why I'm saying that. But the thing is, I would try to play around with the hue. We mentioned, I think, the hue in the editing course, in the second module. And I would experiment to see how that would fit, you know, to change the colors.
Okay.
Just try out to change the colors and try to find some complementing colors that would because it's nice, but I wouldn't have that too much colors in the background, in my opinion.
But since the flowers are white, I don't mind them. That's the only reason why I said I like it as it is.
Yes. That's true as well.
So the contrast is there. It's playing around with the image. It's
the thing
as I
is
said,
that
you're
there
in a
is.
condition.
Mhm.
But it's
There
only
is
my
purple.
simple opinion. I like the image. It's a bit static. That's what I feel about it. It's too central. It's a bit too static. That's the only thing that I would do. You know, play a bit with the composition, but even cropping afterwards, that helps.
Okay, thank you.
Vince.
This is an image that I see this, it's well taken, but I see this image more of a sort of a record shot rather than an image that really gives the feeling, gives the mood of the singer. I would have preferred, okay, it's taken, it's in focus, it's portrait, but one thing that I would have, it's not helping, for example, is that green thing of the microphone. It's this little thing over here. I would eliminate that. The stage lights in this type of images, it doesn't bother me, even though one might argue that this is a distraction. In these types of images, it's complementing, but the fact that there aren't any lights going, sometimes you've got these lights complementing by you've got array of light falling on the subject, and it complements the subject.
Yeah.
Even the fact that the singer is caught, okay, maybe he wasn't doing any particular emotions, but the thing that he's rather static in his look, you know, it gives me the sense that, to me, this is more just a record shot rather than something which can be presented as an artistic image. That is my opinion.
I totally agree with you, Vince. I totally in these type of images, in these type of events, one needs to look at expressions.
That's right.
And even show sometimes movement. And that helps, rather than using sometimes a fast shutter speed and show it like it was posed. Or so sometimes one needs to go around
and even
Yeah.
experiment more. And even in these types of images, I agree perfectly with Johan's comment, that he's saying I would have waited for some facial expressions. And my message to the author, if he's into this type of photography, is that you need to wait for it's not just the singer is there singing a song for normally 2 minutes. So you've got the time to wait for getting a proper expression that would give you that sense of that inspiring photo. So it's a question of waiting. I agree also with Leonard that I would have toned down that steel structure behind in the background.
We're nearly there. Chris Azzopardi.
Okay. Another lovely shot here. I really love the colors in the sky, the composition, the foreground, and sorry, because I'm not showing. I'm sorry, forget that I need to unlock it. Well, the inclusion of the human figure at the right spot over there, which adds more interest. I'm not sure if I would crop a bit from the foreground, but as it is, I like the detail here. There's not much that I can. Yes, maybe like that to reduce a bit.
The idea, I think, Chris, the author is not here, but he sent me a message and he will see the recording. He left that foreground so that the horizon will be on the thirds.
But personally, I like the detail. I like the detail over here that it gives me. You start with sharp, clear leaves, flowers. Then gradually you start losing detail and going backward. And sometimes we tend to be a bit too finicky. This is an image that I think it's good as it is. And I like it. Maybe just I would have tried changing, if it's only possible, the view so that the figure would be above the horizon, but I don't know. As it is, I like it.
The author is not here. We have 2 left, only 2 left. I'm going to, so that by 8 we'll finish. Joe Attard.
I like the square format to start with. It's a scene well. Excuse the pun. A scene well seen. With the reflection which is helping to make the image more interesting. Even the positioning, perhaps it's good, but if one has to try to fix something, I would say that this what do you call it, asba, this
reed
this reed underneath here on the water is not helping. It's taking a lot of interest. Bamboo, yes, the bamboo thing. Also, the time of day. You know that most of the successful photographs are those taken in the right light or in the right time that gives the right light to the subject.
That's what I was going to ask you, Joe. Is it the timing? Is it appropriate?
I wouldn't think so. No, I would go another time, and I will make sure that the light is good, is better. When is the light better? In this particular case, the light is only hitting part of the scene, not all of it, and it's not doing anything. Sort of, it's not helping to bring out the scene nicely. I would shoot it again in a better light. Perhaps a backlight could work to have a dark foreground, or else a full frontal and an angle but full frontal light would even be better. I would steer away from that bamboo thing, and yes, this case, the horizon, or what we call the horizon, will go in the center because it's a reflection. So I would crop exactly to make the dividing line in the center. But the effect is excellent, is very good, and I would suggest the author. It is very important to note that the author has seen the subject, so there is the photographic urge in him or her, and I would strongly suggest to keep on chasing such subjects, but be a bit more careful. That's why we do these sessions, for what time of day or what type of light falls on the subject, and a bit of composition as well.
Thank you, Joe.
I hope I'm helping the author a bit. Yeah.
I don't know if the author is here. I don't think so.
No, he's not here, Stephen.
Okay, so I'll go for the last image. Charles Calleja.
Well, obviously, this is shot at midday, so we cannot take it another time. In my opinion, the image is a bit too bright. It's the post-processing that's letting it a bit down. You can see a little bit of hues that are not correct. Darkening a little bit the image would be quite interesting. Let me see. Yeah, and maybe allowing a little bit. I can see that at the bottom, the canons are a bit cropped out. So a little bit better composition might have helped. Obviously, you can revisit this location for this image, and you can retake it. Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit, even as you can see on the facade of the stonework, it's a bit too bright. So, you know, post-processing is something that lacks in this image, but obviously captured at the right time. I don't have much more to say, but I would definitely address the post-processing. And I don't know whether it's slightly, the horizon needs to be addressed. I think it does. It's sort of leaning towards the right side.
Charles, the author, he's a newbie. He's doing the beginner's course in photography. So we have to accept and try to help him to better compose, at least at this moment, rather than going into technical details. Yes, he needs to learn, so it is important to emphasize and highlight.
That build up an image.
Yeah, of course.
So the first thing that I mentioned was composition. Cutting it, from the weaves of the canons is an issue for me. If he's doing the course, obviously, these are elements that he needs to address.
Yeah.
So it's very important that you know, I'm sure that he's doing the course, and if he missed something out with the lectures, you know, maybe highlight with your tutors what can be done.
He only attended 3 lessons, so he's still at the beginning of the course. So
it's an encouraging shot.
Yeah,
yeah. Good shutter speed, so it doesn't show that there are lacking of information there. It's focused exactly on the canons, so I can see the foreground sharper than the background. So in my opinion, yes, it's a good shot.
The timing, on a positive note, the timing is good. It's spot on.
Yeah.
So, as I said, and as we say to all our students, we encourage them to attend these webinars and also to submit photos, because we are there to help them improve their photography. Today we had a good number of images. Thanks, Vince. We had 18 images. We overran a little bit, but I'm sure that those of you present had a good feedback and also learned something from this session. I thank all those who contributed and gave their feedback and assessment on such images. There's something else that you need to add, Vince?
Not much, Stephen. I thank them because obviously when we've got a good turnout in such mentoring sessions, one would learn, even us. Even I would say the experienced would learn. I learn with the comments and with the feedback that obviously our seasoned photographers as judges would give us, and that is why it is always, and we urge especially the new beginners to join these, because this is how you would build the experiences. We, Stephen, myself and yourself were beginners once. We joined the society and we were beginners once, and this is how it is. Not that today we are, at least speaking for myself, I am still open to learning. I am still building my photography. So it is good that these sessions are attended. On another, obviously, we have to remind them before we leave, Stephen, that next week we will be having a famous international photographer. I mean, he's Antonio Ghirlando. So those who are like me, obviously, fond of people photography, glamour, fashion, obviously it's the webinar that you cannot miss, because Antonio Ghirlando will be speaking on how he works with models, how he works with posing, lights, and these maybe also give us some tips regarding post-processing. So I hope that we can see also a lovely turnout like we did in these couple of weeks.
Most probably will not stream it on Facebook.
No, we cannot stream this on Facebook because the nature is, obviously this is fine art and we may get some nude images, artistic nude, nude images. So we will not be streaming it on Facebook. But still, obviously, it's another webinar that will, I'm sure, it will contain a lot of photographic value for all to take.
As you can see, we try to balance things out. We ask other photographers, foreign and local, to share their photographic repertoire. And from our end, as a photographic society, we hold these type of sessions, the ones like today, the photo clinic, because it is our priority, even our objective, to aid and help you photographers, you members, with our feedback. Our society needs to get on board more photographers to ask questions and to come to the society where they need help. And we, as who have been into photography for these past years, can give our support and expertise. That's the idea of these type of webinars we had today.
Yes, this is particularly important that you're saying, Stephen, and I really urge those that attend the society and also the new ones that would love to attend when the doors open again, hopefully soon, and that they take the opportunity to visit, especially not just the lectures, that every week we've got interesting speakers coming to the club, but also it's very important that I would love to see a more large turnout in the outings organized by the society. This is, guys, a great opportunity to attend hands-on. You've got experienced photographers that can help you out. So make sure that you join these sessions, because it is really a good opportunity.
Good night to all.
So thank you. Keep safe.
Thanks,
See
Vince.
you.
Thank you. Thank you all,
Thank you,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. See
Bye.
you next
Good night.
week.